Have you ever made a promise to yourself? Not a New Year's resolution that fades by February, but a real, deep-down promise. A commitment to change, to grow, to become the person you know you're meant to be. I made one of those promises, and it completely changed the course of my life. For the longest time, I felt stuck. I was going through the motions, ticking boxes, living a life that looked good on paper, but felt empty on the inside. I was constantly seeking validation from others, shaping myself to fit their expectations, and losing pieces of my true self along the way. I remember one evening, just sitting and looking at my reflection, and I didn't recognize the person staring back. There was this profound sadness in my eyes, a quiet desperation for something more. That was my breaking point. Right there, in that moment of raw honesty, I made a promise to myself. I promised to stop abandoning myself. I promised to start listening to that quiet inner voice I had ignored for so long. I promised to choose myself, not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors my own needs, my own dreams, and my own well-being. It was terrifying. It meant letting go of what was familiar, even if it was unfulfilling. It meant potentially disappointing people. But the thought of continuing down the same path was even more frightening. The first step was small. I promised myself I'd spend just 10 minutes each day doing something purely for me, with no goal other than joy. For me, that was reading a chapter of a fantasy novel, something I hadn't done since I was a kid because it felt unproductive. Those 10 minutes felt like a rebellion. Slowly, those small acts of self-allegiance grew. I started saying no to things that drained my energy. I started saying yes to things that scared me but also excited me. I enrolled in an online art class, something I'd always wanted to do but was too afraid I'd be bad at. And guess what? I was pretty bad at first. But it didn't matter because I was doing it for me. The joy was in the process, not the outcome. This journey wasn't a straight line. There were days I slipped back into old habits. Days filled with self-doubt where the voice of the inner critic was deafening. On those days, I'd remind myself of the promise. I'd look back at how far I'd come. I learned that keeping a promise to yourself isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about gently guiding yourself back on track every time you stray. It's about treating yourself with the same compassion and understanding you'd offer a friend. The most incredible thing happened as I started honoring this promise. The world around me began to shift. The relationships that were based on me being a people pleaser fell away, and in their place, deeper, more authentic connections formed. Opportunities started appearing that were aligned with my true passions. The emptiness I felt was replaced with a sense of purpose and a quiet confidence I'd never known. By putting myself first, I was actually able to show up as a better, more present, and more loving person for others. So, what's the promise you need to make to yourself? Maybe it's to finally write that book. Maybe it's to leave a situation that's holding you back. Or maybe, like me, it's simply to spend a little more time listening to your own heart. Whatever it is, I want you to know that you are worthy of that promise. You are worthy of your own commitment. Start small, one tiny intentional step today. I'd love to hear about the promise you're making to yourself. Share it in the comments below. Let's create a community of support right here. Your story could be the inspiration someone else needs to hear to make their own promise. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this time with me. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more conversations about living a more authentic life. Remember, the most important promise you'll ever keep is the one you make to yourself. See you in the next video.